place where he encounters Zacchaeus, the tax collector. And our text informs us that as he was leaving Jericho, that there was a man that he deals with by the name of Bartimaeus. Not only have we learned to understand the past, but I've also learned that in order for us to deal with this whole concept of Bartimaeus, that we must trace the etymology or the history of the word, especially when dealing with Scripture. It gives us a better picture, if you will, of the whole account. And when we begin to look at this, we must understand that the etymology of the word Jericho, it means cursed. Understand that it became known as an accursed place because when Joshua captured it over in Joshua chapter number 6, verse number 26, the Bible begins to let us know that he cursed it. So the text says that Jesus went to the city that was cursed. He went to the accursed place. And understand, beloved, that Jesus had a habit, if you will, of going to places that other people would avoid. And that's what I love so very much about the Christ. I'm so very thankful that we don't serve the type of God that only comes into certain places. But when you look at the aspect and concept of who Jesus was, Jesus had a habit of going to places where nobody else would go. Jesus would go to the places where nobody else would enter into. He would deal with issues that nobody else would deal with. And that's what I love about Jesus. Jesus was not the type of individual that was caught up in the structure, but he was the type of man that came for the purpose of upsetting the status quo. And I don't know about you, but I'm so very glad that he went to the accursed place, because the truth of the matter is that all of us sitting in here, no matter how wonderful we think we are, no matter how great we are, no matter how sharp we may be tonight, all of us at some point in our lives was in some accursed places. The truth of the matter is that if he had not come by the club, y'all ain't gonna talk to me, if he didn't come by Boo's house, if he didn't come by Tommy's house, if he didn't come by our house, the fact of the matter is that many of us would still be in a jacked up, messed up position. But I don't know about you, but I'm so very glad that he stopped by the accursed places in my life and made a conscious decision that he was not going to leave me there, but that he was going to do something that would change my very destiny. The Bible begins to blow me away because it begins to tell us that Jesus had a consciousness and that he had a habit of going to places that other people would avoid. And again, I told you a few moments ago that I'm glad that he went to the accursed place. And as he was leaving, the Bible says that he met a man that lived there. He met a man that lived in the accursed place. Can you imagine, my beloved brothers and sisters, living in a place that was accursed? It's one thing to just pass through and or to spend time. It's one thing to be there for the night, but it's another thing. Can you imagine having to live there? The Bible says that Jesus went to the accursed place, and as he was leaving, he met a man that lived there. The man that lived in the accursed place, his name was Bartimaeus. Now, if you want to continue tonight in our word study, you'll find out, if you will, that his name wasn't actually Bartimaeus, but Bar, if you will, is a Greek prefix. Bar means son of, and then he was the son of Timaeus. Therefore, we can conclude that Bartimaeus was not his name. It simply identified him and his family. So Bar, which is the prefix in the Greek, which means son of, Timaeus was his father's name. And when I began to do a study of Timaeus, I was blown away, Pastor Campbell, because the word Timaeus, it means polluted. It means nasty. It means dirty. It means corrupt. It means filthy. So Bartimaeus means the son of a nasty man. It means the son of a filthy man. It means the son of a corrupt man. Y'all gonna pray with me in a few minutes. It means the son of a messed up man. So now we have Bartimaeus, the son of a nasty man, and he lived in an accursed place. The place that he lived in was cursed. The people that he was connected to were nasty. And then not only that, he was blind. He was living in an accursed place. He could not see. His whole family was messed up. And to top it all off and to add insult to injury, the text says that he was a beggar as well. I got to stay here for a minute, because when you look at this man's environment, the fact of the matter is that based upon the environment that he was living in, the fact of the matter is that there should have been no hope for him. Based based upon the environment that he was living in. They should have been in a place where he had finally made a decision that he was just going to straight up give up. Based on the environment, the family name, everything about him, he should have gotten to a place where he literally said, it's not worth going after it. It's not worth me having any dreams. It's not worth me having any passions. I'm just going to straight up give up and throw in the towel. And that's what many of you all are today. Many of you all are in that same position because of your family name, because of the mistakes that you've made, because of the mishaps that you found yourself in. You feel like there is no way possible that you can get up from the dilemma and or the position and or the situation that you're in. But I stopped by here to tell you that you got to learn how to use Bartimaeus as an example of how to deal with the issues of life, because the fact of the matter is that it's not over until God says it's over. I wish you would just touch somebody and tell them it's not over for me yet. I wish you would tell somebody real fast, it's not over for me yet. So what? I messed up in my past. So what? I missed it. So what? When you look at my family condition, it's not the way it should be. So what? I grew up in the hood. So what? My financial situation is terrible. Just because I start in a bad place does not mean I'm going to end up in a bad place. It's all about who I'm connected to on my journey. Touch somebody and tell them, say, don't give up now. So here we must understand, beloved brothers and sisters, that Bartimaeus is in a bad position. He's in a bad place. He has a terrible family name. His father is known all over the city as a dirty man. His father is known all over the city as a nasty man. His family has a terrible name. He's growing up in a place where he's had to struggle. Now his occupation is very simply this. He has the occupation of being a beggar. In other words, he had to belittle himself. He had to kowtow. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. He had to look and he had to do things differently. He had to feel as if he was less than who he was in order to thrive and survive. And on top of all that, he had to depend upon people to survive who did not have the power to deliver him. He's in a place now where he's in a bad position. However, even though he was a beggar, only blind Bartimaeus seemed to see the significance of his moment. I stopped by here to tell you that there is a defining moment that's about to come your way. And when you come up with your defining moment, or when you come to the place of your defining moment, you got to make a conscious decision that from this point on, I'm going to make things happen in my life that is going to change my destiny. And I'm going to declare and decree at my defining moment that the rest of my days are going to be the best of my days. I wonder if somebody in here would just touch somebody to your right or to your left and tell them, say, neighbor, I declare and decree that the rest of my days shall be the best of my days. I don't care how bad it looked in my past, because somebody's about to come my way. Things are about to change and things are about to get better. Touch somebody and tell them a better day is on the way. Here the Bible begins to blow our minds, because we find here that he sees some things that we didn't see. What did he see, Dr. Sapp? Well, I'm going to give y'all my 3 points and then I'm going to let y'all go. Because the first thing that the Bible declares that Bartimaeus could see is he could see that Jesus, number one, was the Christ. How do you know that, Dr. Sapp? Well, the Bible begins to blow our minds, beloved brothers and sisters, because when the blind man asked who it was that was coming his way, they replied to him that it was Jesus of Nazareth. And Bartimaeus must have heard many stories about Jesus, so he believed that Jesus was the Christ. Let me stop right here, because this is major, my beloved brothers and sisters. Bartimaeus did not base his actions on what he had seen, but Bartimaeus based his actions on what he had heard. Okay, I'm going to talk to y'all over here because they don't want to hear me. I said Bartimaeus did not base his actions on what he had seen. He based it on what he had heard. Can I tell you that one of the problems with the 21st century church is we're too busy being visually motivated in order to understand that faith does not come by seeing, but faith comes by hearing. Touch somebody and tell them, if you're going to get out of this, you got to hear the right stuff. Oh, y'all need to encourage somebody real fast. Tell them, say, if you're going to get out of this situation, you got to hear the right stuff. You got to stop listening to people's conjecture and listening to people's concoctions of how they manipulated the circumstances to work out for their benefit in order for you to get out of your situation. But if you're going to come out of this with power and authority, you got to learn how to tap in and listen to the stuff that's going to build your faith, so that when the evil things come against you to try to block and or to stop you from getting what God said you can have, you can war it off. Why? Because you've heard enough good stuff in your spirit, and you've applied what you've heard long enough that can't nothing and or nobody stop you from getting what God says belong to you. Touch somebody and tell them, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine.